We are going to be talking all things Kindle Scribe today because I know that you guys want to know whether I like my Kindle Scribe, whether I love my Kindle Scribe, or whether I wish I didn't buy my Kindle Scribe. I actually bought my Kindle Scribe a year ago, almost to the day. Like I bought it, or I think I uploaded the video where I shared like getting a new Kindle, unboxing it on October 7th. So it is October, which means that I've had it for a full year and I can give you guys my full unfiltered thoughts. Not that my thoughts aren't unfiltered always, but I feel like whenever I first got my Scribe, I had no idea how Kindle was even gonna work in my life. Like I feel like I had so many friends who had Kindles, but I've always been a physical book girly and I've always enjoyed reading physical books more. So I just didn't know if Kindle would be for me. So this is the Kindle Scribe, if you guys aren't aware of just like what one looks like. And I ended up getting a Scribe because for me, I love reading like books with big text. I love books that are larger. I personally love hardback books, and I know most people don't, but I like them, I think, because you can just get through the book faster. At least it feels like it to me because the words are so much larger. And I know on a Kindle Paperwhite, which a lot of people have, you can make the text bigger, but I wanted like a larger screen. Another thing about the Kindle Scribe that I think is great is if you are not someone who normally annotates with like a pen, I think that you will annotate a lot on a Kindle Scribe just because it is so easy to do. I, again, am not someone who annotates a ton, but I feel like on the Scribe, I've definitely used that feature a lot because it's just like right there. I normally don't even have it outside of the case. I usually have it inside of this little case, which I actually got from Vista Cases, and I get almost all of my cases from there actually I think I have all my cases from there for my Kindle Scribe, and it is just the best. I feel like I've had a hard time finding Kindle cases for Scribe, so go to Vista Cases if you're looking for like something that is going to be cute but also is going to work really well. I'm gonna put this in here just because I don't ever have it outside of this and I kind of am afraid of dropping it, but again, I feel like the Kindle Scribe will be good for the girlies who like to annotate, or if you just, I don't know, want a bigger screen. Again, I know that you can make the text larger on other screens, but for me, this screen is incredible. A lot of people have asked if it's like heavy or if it's hard to carry with me, and I don't have a hard time carrying it with me at all. I just throw it into my tote. Now, if you do have small bags, I feel like it will be kind of hard to bring with you, but if you carry like a tote typically or like a larger purse, like I have a bag that I wear often that I just grabbed off of like the TikTok shop, and I feel like that bag is just like a regular average size bag and it fits my Kindle perfectly. So if you're wanting to figure out if this fits well in a bag, for most people, it will fit just fine. I try to use like the example of like a hardback book just to give you like a gauge in size, because if you carry around hardback books, you'll be fine carrying around a Kindle Scribe. The weight isn't too much different, but I think it's easier to carry because you don't have to worry about like, with a hardback, you're kind of worrying about it like getting messed up because it has like the cover on top of the hardback book. Whereas with this, you could throw this thing around, like you do not have to worry if this is going to get like scuffed up in your bag. Now, I do feel like a lot of people will give like recommendations for what you need to buy, what you need to have with the Kindle, but having a Kindle a year later, I have learned that you don't really need very much at all. I have 2 Kindle cases and it comes with this little like pin thing. Whenever you buy your Kindle, let me see if I can like get it out of here. I smushed it whenever I put my Kindle back into the case, but this little pin right here is what it comes with just for like annotating and stuff. And other than that, I don't think you really need anything else. I feel like a lot of people will try to like sell you on like book sleeves and like stickers, and those are fun, but you do not need that. For me, I actually have a ton of stickers that I planned on putting onto a Kindle Scribe and getting like a clear case, but I just don't care to use it. And I think it's more because I know that if I put the stickers on, even if I put them on with like something on the back that I can like easily take them off, or I know a lot of people will put them on their Scribe, but they won't like stick them on so they can like interchange them. And I know if I do that, I'm gonna have to do that often just because I'm gonna get tired of the stickers. Whereas with the case, I don't really get tired of it at all. I don't know why that is, but I just don't. So if you're thinking about buying a Kindle Scribe, Kindle Paperwhite, Kindle Oasis, you don't really need that much. Just buy the Kindle and like use that for a while until you get really acclimated with it, and then go to something else. I also think that Kindle Unlimited is one of the most like, I don't know, one of the best ways to get books if you're trying to save money, because Kindle Unlimited, I'm pretty sure it's like $12 a month, and they have so many books on there. Like almost every single like new book that comes out that's like romance, thrillers, they're almost all on there. I will say that if you're trying to find like indie authors or books that aren't like in Barnes & Noble, you probably won't find them on Kindle Unlimited. But if you're like new to reading especially, Kindle Unlimited is the best way to get like tons of great new books without having to like pay a ton of money. Now, as a girly who bookshops a lot, I do feel like I get Kindle books, and then like I'll get books that I read on my Kindle, and then I will also buy the physical book. Don't ask me why I do that, because I really don't need to, but I do think it's a great way to save money just overall. The Kindle Scribe is definitely the most expensive of the Kindles to buy. So if you're not someone who's like really in need of a big screen, you can definitely pick up the Kindle Paperwhite. I just know for me, I don't really like small text, small books. I'm really big on like how the text looks on my screen. And if you enlarge the text on a Paperwhite, like you'll literally be just scrolling pages and pages and pages, because obviously the text, the large text, is going to take up most of the screen. Whereas the text on this, it is about the same like page width of like a hardback book, so I don't really feel like I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So it just makes it really, really easy to read. This is one of the books that I've like picked up, and you can see the text is like pretty like large. It's very, very, very large, and I feel like if you're just someone who maybe struggles to get through books, you will read books a lot faster. There's always like what's it called? Like a joke, like a running joke where people are like, oh, if you like read on Kindle, like you're gonna read like 10 times faster. And I do agree with that. I will say I don't really use my Kindle very much in warmer months, but living in the Midwest, we do have a ton of like cooler months, like probably more than anything. And I read my Kindle a lot during those months. I found that like last fall, winter, I read on my Kindle way more. And I think one, it's because it has its own light. So the sun starts to set usually around like 5 o'clock in a couple weeks, it's going to start setting really early. It's already setting at like 6:30 right now. And because it sets so early, you guys know I love to read outside. I read outside all the time. And with it setting so early, I can't really read outside on like a physical book anymore. Just because by the time I get off work and I get outside and all the things, I just am not able to do that. So having my Kindle Scribe allows me to do that. I also think another thing that's great about a Kindle is not only does it have a light, but the battery life on this is unreal, like truly unreal. I think in the year that I've had it, I've had to charge it maybe 3 times. Like it really is unreal. Now that's not saying that I don't put it on the charger. Like sometimes I'll just throw it on the charger just because I'm like, oh, maybe the battery's low. So I've definitely charged it more than that. But there have been very few times that I've actually been like, oh, my battery's running low, like I need to go plug it in. And I don't leave it on the charger either. Just sometimes before I'm going on a trip, I'll throw it on the charger, like that kind of thing. But it will truly stay charged for so long. And this actually has the longest battery life of all Kindles. The Kindle Scribe does. So if you're someone who reads a lot, you really do not have to worry about the battery life on this thing. It will hang in there for a really long time. Another thing that I love just about Kindles in general is it shows you the percentage on the bottom of the book of like how much you have left. Like it'll be like 17%, 63%, 87%. So you can see how close you are to finishing the book. And that for me is sometimes like a little race with myself. Like, okay, how fast can I get through this book? Because I'm already almost finished with it. But yeah, those are all of the like things about Kindles that I feel like you really need to know. I know that you guys wanted to know like about accessories, which is pretty much for me just the Kindle case. And you guys also wanted to know about like why you should buy a Kindle, which for me I think is like battery life, having a light on your reading device that you can use pretty much at all times. Also having the option to get Kindle Unlimited where you're gonna have tons and tons of books and save so much money overall. Like yes, you will buy you know, your Kindle, and it will be like, you know, pretty costly initially. But when you think about it, if you go to Barnes & Noble, most books are like around $30 these days, like hardback books. And if you buy like paperback books, you know, they're gonna be like $20, $28, $17, somewhere in that range. And you get a few of those and you're racking it up. Like you're already gonna be at $100, $200, like just that fast. And so for me, having a Kindle allows me to save money, because with Kindle Unlimited, I can just get so many books on my Kindle to read. And I just love that. So definitely grab a Kindle. I don't know if I would say every single person has to have the Scribe, but I think for me, having a longer battery life, also having a huge screen and having something to like annotate on very easily is just like top tier. And having it a year later, like I would never go back and not get my Kindle. So now for book recs, which I feel like is one of the things that you guys definitely wanted more than anything. I wanted to specifically share book recs that do not like, that aren't one, super popular, and two, you can't really find it in Barnes & Noble. So a lot of these books are like either indie authors or not as popular books. And I wanted to share that because I feel like so often people will share books on Kindle Unlimited, but it's like Frida McFadden, like Colleen Hoover. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we get it. Like we know that those people are probably on Kindle Unlimited. So I wanted to share more books that are less popular. So I'm gonna start with romance because you guys know that I'm a romance girly at heart, will always be a romance girly at heart. And we're gonna start with like the super cutesy, like fun rom-com-y romances, the books that'll make you laugh. The first one is Our Secret Moments by Janisha Boswell. This book is by an indie author, and I think that there are only like 1,400 reviews on Goodreads for this book. It is one of my favorite books that I've read this year. Like, I'm not even kidding. And if you liked Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, I feel like you'll really like this. Even though I didn't really care for Icebreaker, like the vibe of the story is very similar. It's about a girl who has to help this football player who is like, he kind of gets nervous whenever he's interviewing for really anything, and she has to help him like get better at interviewing. And at the same time, she's also interviewing him along with the football team for this paper that she's working on. Now, this football player is like the captain of the football team, and he's like everybody's like it guy. And she's kind of always had a thing for him because he is her best friend's brother. And he's also kind of always had a thing for her, but like, again, that's his sister's best friend, so like he can't like, you know, cross that line. It is just such a funny, cutesy read. There's also a section in the front of the book that says like if you want to skip the spice or skip straight to the spice, it shows like all the chapters where spice is like included. So that's kind of nice if you're someone who doesn't really like a ton of spice. It definitely is spicy, but again, you can like skip it or just skip straight to it if that's like what you choose. Another great book is Fly With Me by, I do not even remember this author, Andy Burke. And I didn't write the authors down, but I feel like I should have. I feel like they'll come off the top of my head because all of these books are very highly rated. Like I rated Our Secret Moments 4.5 out of 5 stars. I rated Fly With Me 4 out of 5 stars. Loved this story so much. It's about a girl who is she like flies planes and she loves doing that, but she's been trying to get this promotion for a really long time and like hasn't got it. And she's just like, oh, every single guy at this like, you know, job, they're all getting these promotions and like I'm not getting them, but I'm like working so hard as a pilot. Now this other girl comes along and she's like getting on this girl's plane, and whenever she gets on the plane, this guy actually like gets something in his throat and it like gets stuck. So she has to like, you know, get it out, and like she's like a nurse, and so everyone cheers her on after that happens. They're like, great job, you did amazing, like, oh, like you saved this guy's life. And so all of this like virality happens on the internet because of her like saving this guy on this girl's plane. So the girl who's trying to get this promotion is like, hey, can we just like fake date so that we can like pretend like, you know, this happened and like that's how we met, and like, you know, just make a story out of it, because the airline that I work for is getting like a lot of press for this. And then they're like, sure. So that's what the book is about. It is so cute. Is one of my favorites that I've read in a really long time that isn't super hyped up. I think it only has 5,000 reviews on Goodreads, and again, so good. And that author came out with another book this year, which I cannot wait to read. Another book that is really good is more of like a deep, heartfelt romance, and I actually have two. So I shared two rom-com romances, and this is more of like a deep, heartfelt, will like make you cry romance. It's called Fast by Millie Belzar. Rated this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's about a girl who just like goes through it. And this book I think only has 3,000 reviews on Goodreads, and every review is just like 10 out of 10, banger after banger. Like all of the ratings are so high. I think this has like a 4.3 star, 4.5, or maybe 4.8. Like it's a very high star rating on Goodreads. And it's about a girl who's just like going through it. You see her life from age 8 all the way up to age 30. And while she is just like struggling through life, she also has a neighbor who has like always been there for her, like no matter what. And you see this like friends to lovers story kind of come to fruition. But while that's happening, life is lifing. And so something happens to kind of pull them apart, and years later you see them kind of reconnect. It's a beautiful story, but definitely very traumatic and definitely will make you cry. Another book that is gonna really pull at your heartstrings is The Two of Us by Taylor Torres. Rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. Really love this one as well. This one is one I don't hear a lot of people talk about either. I think it only has a couple thousand reviews on Goodreads, and it's about a girl who left her hometown because something happened at her hometown that she just like cannot get over. She ends up coming back because her dad is sick, and while she's back, it's either her dad or her mom, I think it's her dad. She comes back while her family member is sick, and she sees her ex-boyfriend next door to her house, and he like literally lives next door, and there's so much tension, so much like brooding. You really want to figure out like what happened, why she left, like why did she run away from this town, and it's just a great story. Again, rated this one 4 out of 5 stars, and this is the only book that I've ever read by this author, but I think it's the only book that they've written, and it has really high reviews as well. Now this is a book that is neither like super heartfelt or rom-com-y. It's more for like the urban romance, like dark romance girlies. Like if you like dark romance, I feel like you'll like this book. Now this book I think is also perfect for Kindle because it is 750 pages long, which is so long for a romance, but I ate this book up. Like I read it super fast, and it also has very high reviews on Goodreads as well. It's called Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen. This book is one that I also think is great for Kindle because for me, the cover of this is like, I do not like books with like people on the cover really. And it kind of gives like an old schooly vibe, and I just like, yeah, I need to read this on Kindle. It also is super thick, so reading it on Kindle, you kind of forget like how long it is. It's about a girl who, she is like the fixer of everything in her family, and her brother kind of like messes something up, so she has to go to this like gang lord guy and be like, hey, how can we fix this? Like my brother messed this up, like I need to like fix what he did. And the guy is like, oh, I have a way that we can fix it. My son Damien, who they call Demon because he literally will just at any moment's notice to anyone, like he's so scary. He is like, he can pretty much like just be the one who decides what you're going to do, and he will be able to decide that for 30 days. So you're at like his beck and call. And that book is so unhinged, and it's told from 4 points of view, so you don't really ever get bored with it. I feel like if it was told from one point of view, like maybe 750 pages would be a lot, because it's from 4 POVs, it just feels like it's so many different books combined into one. Now for thriller books, I wanted to share books that are, again, very different, things that you don't normally see. So the first book is Appetite for Innocence by Lucinda Berry. And this book is one that I feel like is like not really underrated, but I do feel like you don't see Lucinda Berry's books at Barnes & Noble. So you wouldn't really know about her books unless you're like maybe on Book Talk or something like that. I've read like 4 or 5 of her books, and I feel like if you like Frida McFadden's thrillers, you need to pick up a book by Lucinda Berry. They're very fast paced. You'll finish them in like a day or 2. They're just really good. This one in particular is about a guy who like kidnaps girls, and he like keeps like a horde of them together, and 2 of them actually end up escaping, but when they escape, some wild things happen after they escape. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, they escaped, but I thought that would be the end of the story. But I still will think about the story being like, oh my God, so much happened even after they escaped. It was a great read, and again, super fast paced. I finished this one just like that. Another book is Dear Vicky by Octavia Grant. If you like books that are completely unhinged, that you will literally have your jaw on the floor and are super short, you have to pick this one up. I feel like short books are perfect for Kindle Unlimited, along with long books, but short books too, because I don't want to buy a book that's less than 100 pages. You know what I mean? So having something that's less than 100 pages on Kindle Unlimited is perfect because you can pick up the book and finish it in one sitting, put it down. You really haven't spent any money other than like the $12 that you pay for Kindle Unlimited, which you could pay that amount and get like 6-7 books, you know what I mean? One of these books, like Dear Vicky, the one that I'm specifically talking about, is $10, like if you buy it on Amazon. And like that's almost the amount that you're paying for Kindle Unlimited for like a full like monthly subscription, you know? So you can get so many books within that price. But this book is wild, and I've read so many books by this author. Anytime I feel like a slump is coming on, I always pick up books by this author because they are so unhinged. This one specifically is about a girl. No, it's about a guy who sees a girl in the grocery store. She's like bagging his groceries, and he's like, ooh, like I want her. Like I want her to be my girlfriend. Like she's supposed to be my wife. And he just like creates this whole fantasy of like how they're supposed to be together, even though she literally doesn't even know his name. The things that happen in this book are wild. You will have your jaw on the floor, and it's less than 100 pages. I think it's like 81 pages or something like that. So please pick up that book, especially if you're in a slump. Another one that's really good is Work Husband by this author, but I think that that's less thrillery and more like romance. I mean, it definitely has thriller vibes, but it definitely has like more of like a heavy undertones of romance. So I feel like Dear Vicky is like perfect for this specific like rec. And for fantasy, I haven't really read a ton of fantasy books just because you guys know that I'm kind of just stepping into that. So I haven't really I don't have a ton to recommend because I've only really read Shatter Me, Fourth Wing, like the really popular like thriller or fantasy books like Core Thorns and Roses, like that kind of thing. But there are 2 books that are on my fantasy TBR that I want to share that I don't think a lot of people have talked about. The first one is The Blood Marrow, and I'm just going to read the back of this one just because, again, I don't really know what a lot of like these fantasy books are about, but I remember when I first read it, it looked like it was good. It says, according to the legend, the native tribes of Imperia harbored a mysterious power capable of warding off death itself. As war threatens the safety of her brother and everyone else she holds dear, the daughter of the emperor, Iris Wu, turns her back on her royal title and joins the ranks of the Order of Alabas. The Order is a powerful group of international outcasts looking to make a name for themselves despite their seemingly righteous intentions of fighting back against the oppressive ruling nations. Iris discovers that the Order is harboring a dark secret. She learns that the leader is hunting for a legendary power known as the Blood Marrow, and Iris becomes more valuable than ever. For any hope of survival, Iris must discover the truth of the legend, if there is any truth at all. In a thrilling journey of power, mystery, and love, she soon learns her past, her pedigree, and her future are more intertwined with the Order than she has ever imagined. Now, this book, I think, has less than 100 reviews on Goodreads. Like, I think it has like 94. So very few, but they're all very highly rated, like 4 stars. And I know that this author got kind of like bigger on Book Talk. Like I found her video, I think on like Book Talk or maybe like Instagram or something. And I wanted to read this immediately. I also don't feel like I see a lot of books by like diverse authors for fantasy. So I always like to recommend those books as well, and like read them too. And this one is one that is a romantasy, not just like a fantasy, and it's supposed to be like a mix, I think, between like Powerless and like Hunger Games vibes. I think that's what it says. And another book that is on my fantasy TBR is The Gale by Lo Meyer, and this one has less than 1,000 reviews on Goodreads. It has 934, and this one says, for 300 years the kingdom of Caldron has survived inside the walls built after the nuclear war of 2060. 18-year-old Jacqueline Livingston knows that her true identity as heir to the throne is only one of her kingdom's secrets. Then, on the night before she's to be revealed as heir, she's kidnapped during a raid by the Gale, the kingdom's mortal enemy. No one knows who she is, and Jacqueline assumes the role of a servant in the place of the merciless Gale, Prince Daxinus. While plotting her escape, she befriends a group of tattooed cover servants and learns that the Gale, far from being traitors, were banished from Caldron for speaking out against the dark secret to the kingdom's prosperity. And Daxinus is perhaps not so merciless after all. Jacqueline's people are certain in hunger, but it seems the true threat may not come from the gale, but from inside the kingdom's walls. She'll have to risk everything, including her own heart, to save the kingdom she is destined to rule. And this one, again, is supposed to be like a romantasy, like heavy on the romance, and it has like I think it's like 4.1 review rating on Goodreads, so it's also very high as well. And those are both fantasies that don't have a ton of reviews, and they are by indie authors. So I hope you guys liked that list of book recommendations for Kindle Unlimited. I hope you guys also have some idea of why you should get a Kindle, why I enjoy my Kindle a year later, and I hope you guys like the accessories that I shared as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed because there's new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!